Yes, thanks very much, Tristan. Marvelous that you're getting visuals of Dundee. Just as well, you decided to drive the non-drivable road, Hyena Road. And look at what we found. We have found a lacewing, which is the adult form of an antlion. Absolutely marvelous creature. There are so many different species of these. Some of them lay their eggs in the soil, some on bark, some on the trees, which is probably the same as on bark. There are many, many species. I wouldn't hazard to guess which one this is. But some of them can live for up to 7 years in the soil as a larval form. Just feeding and feeding and feeding on, obviously, as the name implies, ants or other small insects that might fall into the conical tube that they have on the ground. And then they will ingest the entire animal or insect. And what I find quite amazing is that the baby or the larval stage of the antlion does not defecate until it becomes an adult. I find that quite an interesting fact. And obviously I am sure once it metamorphosizes and comes out as the lacewing, it flies into the sky, probably has its first proper toilet in its entire life, finds a female to mate or a male to mate, then they lay eggs, and then only within a few days they perish. So they're often attracted into the buildings at night, and they look like a dragonfly that is very drunk. They fly all over the place, attracted by the lights. Look at those monstrous eyes. How beautiful is that? Very pretty. I think it's enjoying the afternoon sun. Ravinda does look like hair on its body. You guys have got a much closer look than I do with the camera. There's a bit of fuzz to keep it warm. I think they are regarded as being more nocturnal than diurnal. So just to keep it warm, I suppose. But completely different from its larval stage. And what's interesting is that you would call these guys the hemimetabolic bee. So what that means, hemimetabolic, is that it doesn't pupate. It goes through larval stages and then becomes an adult without a pupa. But what it means exactly when I say hemimetabolic bee is it goes through an incomplete life cycle, and the larvae lives in a completely different space and time to the adult. As you can imagine, the larvae lives in the soil or in bark where it does most of its feeding, and it comes out above the ground to do its mating and laying of eggs. So very similar to dragonflies that live in water and then will come out, and the adults will fly around living in a very different space and time, and thus eliminating the competition between the youngsters and the adults. Marvelous. Thanks, Ferg. Hope you're getting your screenshots. Any entomologists out there would like to identify this beautiful lacewing for me, I would really appreciate that. Race. Sitting bull looks like a leopard grasshopper, you say? Oh, it's amazingly camouflaged. How Herbie spotted it as he wandered past is beyond me, but let's leave it to its hanging on and continue on our tracking and walking into the setting sun.